Welcome to the 2-Minute Warning, a sports talk platform that will examine current issues in the world of sports, the athletes, and the communities they impact. With your host, former NFL star Benny Blades. Benny will be speaking with both current and former athletes, asking the questions about the lessons they've learned on their journey and how they impact the community. Call into the show now at 888-565-1470. Mr. Blades, are you ready?
Welcome to a new show today, man. I'm your host, Benny Blades. Before we get started, I want to make sure I talk about the jersey that's up for auction, the Dan Marino placard, the seat straight from the Orange Bowl after the destruction and implosion of it. We have a seat from that era, and we have a Michael Irvin signed Dallas Cowboy mini helmet. So you can always go to 2-Minute Warning with Benny Blades, and you can bid on these auctions, and I will make sure I personally bring them to you, and we could talk for a minute, because I appreciate every dime that's raised for the Benny Blades 36 Foundation. Now, today's show is one of my personal, best right now, because I'm talking to a son and a father. And they mean so much to me and my family, because I was telling these gentlemen before the show even began, it's kind of hard to follow in your father's footsteps. But this young man, Damon Berry, welcome to the show, Damon.
Appreciate it, Uncle.
All right. Just tell the people, what was your experiences? What was that like when you was at the University of Miami?
It was a real brotherhood. We actually came together to try to accomplish one common goal. We actually fell short all the years that I was there, but we always knew what the bigger dream was, to go on and play into the NFL. But I feel like that being said, us being and building a culture at the University of Miami actually helped propel me into the NFL realm, and actually prepared us for what we was gonna see in those days and those times.
Now, did you always want to go to the University of Miami, or was that a little bit of daddy putting that thumb on you and say, look here, boy, you gotta go down there and continue that legacy?
I always wanted to go to the University of Miami. I felt like I was gonna be the next Ed Reed mixed with Sean Taylor at safety.
Wait a minute. I ain't trying to cut you off with that right now, but I always tell people we talk before then. I have no knock against Ed Reed. I have no knock against Sean Taylor. I'm gonna tell you what those gentlemen told me. They want to be the next Benny Blades. You understand? Because your dad will tell you, when I went to the University of Miami, no nonsense. You understand?
Right.
Slap you right in the mouth. I ain't caring nothing about you. Slap you right in the mouth. And so that's why when people, I'm sorry, I like to clear the air. I like to clear the air. Because when we start talking about Miami safeties, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, Benny Blades gets put all the way down to, number 8 on the list.
I didn't say all that. I didn't say all that.
I said, wait a minute now. I had to take up for me. Because when you go down to the annals of the University of Miami, these are, trust me, I champion for anybody that's come from the University of Miami. But I tell people, I'm still the only one that won that Jim Thorpe Award.
Fact.
Facts. See what the young man said? Facts. You know what I mean? But no, I'm glad you made that choice to go to the University of Miami. And like you said, that choice to come to the University of Miami and then going on to play as an undrafted free agent, playing with the Baltimore Ravens. What was that like?
At first, I felt like it was a slap in the face, to be honest. I felt like that wasn't me, like that my name wasn't called. But I only laid in it for a day or so. Then it was like, all right, it's time to go to work. Coming in as an undrafted free agent, you gotta prove yourself. You gotta prove your worth.
Yes, sir.
So once I got there, then I actually started practicing and started seeing how it worked, and then it came to me. It was like, bruh, I can do this. This ain't no harder than what I did on Green Tree.
That's right.
I done played against these type of people. I done been there. I done seen this type of stuff. So I done seen these blitzes. I done seen this stuff because Miami had already prepared me for what I was going to see. But it made it a lot easier of a transition having, guys there like Bryant McKinney. I had Ed Reed there. I had Ray Lewis, Tavares Gooden. I had those guys there. And then again, I had a hometown hero, Anquan Bolden, somebody I grew up watching him.
Right.
And then I had my cousin Pernell McPhee and Deontay Thompson all on the same team. So it was kind of like a home. It was at home, but at work.
Right.
So it made the transition a lot more comfortable.
And I'm sure those guys that you mentioned, they push you every day to get better, because there's nothing like having somebody close to you, especially when I tell people all the time, when you get to that National Football League, it's a business.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And people just think, well, he's an undrafted free agent, so why should he make the team? And I tell people all the time, and you're a prime example, an undrafted free agent can make a team, and a first rounder can get cut.
Right.
People just think that first rounder is a shoe-in to make that team. That's not how it happens. Mm-mm. And then what I'm glad about, and I've never had a chance to tell you, you got an opportunity to play in that Super Bowl that I was chasing that dream for 10 years. What was that like? Oh, God.
Man, I just, a couple months ago before all this pandemic stuff, I went and spoke to my daughter's school. She's at the Air Force Base down in Homestead. I had a chance to go talk to her class, and I was telling her class and friends about being a one percenter.
Right.
And I consider myself, you, my dad, other guys in the NFL, they're one percenter, because you got a better chance of being a doctor, lawyer, really successful attorney, than making it actually in the NFL past a year. So I told them that it's not even about being a one percenter in a football round. It's about being a one percenter in your life, in your career, in your own physical background. Because I consider myself a one percenter because I did what I was sought after to do, and that was to be a great player at the University of Miami, go on to the NFL and do what I had to do to try to make a statement there. Didn't last long. Hey, it's okay. I did what God had for me to do, so that made me that one percenter. What made me the 0.5 percenter is winning the Super Bowl. That was the most amazingest experience. Amazingness, I don't even know if that's a word. Amazingness.
But it's okay though.
But that was the best experience ever. The week we had out there in Louisiana, I don't even want to talk about it because it might get some people in trouble. But that was it was the craziest experience ever. Everybody knew who you were. The city was packed. New Orleans was full of people.
Yeah.
And listen, don't have a running back in New Orleans for long.
No.
I'm going to just say that. I'm going to leave it at that.
And see, in all of those experiences that you've garnered along the way, in life, coming from Belgrade, I still tell people probably Belgrade, I affectionately call it the muck, has probably per capita the best athletes that I've seen. I tell people all the time, and your dad will tell you, because, man, you guys come out here, if you can't do nothing else, you can chase down some rabbits, boy. Yeah. And so, all of those experiences, we were talking before the show, it brings me up to what's going on today. How do you view, what's going on today in society? Because we, as young African-American black men, we have a different plight than other people.
Right.
How do you view that now?
It hurts me more because I'm a black man. And a lot of people are insensitive to it because they don't see themselves in that position with the police officer. It's a different thing when you actually see those blue and red lights behind you and then your hearts drop to your stomach, even though you're not doing anything wrong. I see it as a real slap in the face. Just like it's something that we had no control over. We were born of this color. We were born the way we are. The real thing is, I feel that they're afraid of what we can do if we decide to ever come together. And right now, that's what I feel that we need to do as a culture, as black people, black and brown people. We all need to come together so we don't have to use the government, so we don't have to go to the government banks, so we don't have to shop with the stuff that the government have for us, so we don't have to get the food stamps. If we create something or a community that we can support ourselves and become self-sufficient so we don't have to use the government, because right now, I feel that Trump is like, all right, I'm gonna let this go on for a couple of days and I'm gonna shoot him $2,000 and then I'm gonna let it go again. They'll be all right.
You know, and that's the thing. I was talking to another young man over at the park today, and same sentiments. You know, I told him, I said, look, we can't forget, because it was just less than 8 years ago, Trayvon Martin was slain. You understand? That young man, George Zimmerman, is still walking around scot-free.
Writing books.
You know, you understand? And getting paid for killing people. You understand? And those are the things we protest for a moment. The movement sounds good, but then we forget. You understand? And so I just want, you know what I mean, yourself, don't forget the struggle. Because me personally, I won't. And I'm glad now that I have this platform, because I can always tell people that, you know, there's more to life. You know what I mean? We talk about the 1%ers, and I tell people all the time, for a lot of us African American men, we chose football because that was a way to get us out of being impoverished. That lifted us up financially so we can do other things.
Right.
Because just think about it. If we were amongst that 99% in a job force and my credentials are equal to yours, I'm not getting that job.
At all.
You understand? And so that's why I'm glad to be a 1%er, because it gives me this platform now to speak my truth.
Right.
You know?
It's a lot of, like, you got to remember, like, this is, you know, no offense, you and my pops, y'all
we're older guys, yeah.
You know, this is like our time, you know, where the music is a lot rougher. Like, we came out with the Nuck, if you buck, boy.
Yeah.
So now they Nuck, and now we bucking. Now that's why the protesters are becoming riots, because you done did this, y'all. Like, my pops and them, you and my pops, somebody slap y'all probably be like, okay, let's talk about this. Now you slap me, or I see you slap my daddy, oh, it's up. It's up, it's time.
Right.
Because I got time today. And now I think my generation is showing that it's time. And it's time out for all the crazy stuff. It's time out for the slaying of black people innocently. It's time to slow down with all that other crazy stuff that y'all been doing with this government stuff. It's time for us to take back what's naturally ours. I believe that our people, black people, brown people, we are kings, and we were made to be that. We are the most dominant race on this earth. That's what I believe. So I'm not gonna back down, I'm not gonna stop, I'm never gonna forget what's going on. I'm gonna use my platform that I have to keep this going for Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, everyone that has died under the law enforcement unrightfully. Right. You know, we do have some people that, you know, do wrong things.
Yeah,
but
I tell people, you know, there's good and bad in every ethnicity, and that's the thing we have to realize. But you know what I mean. I'm like yourself. I'll stand up for that cause. You know, because don't get me wrong. That means your daddy can be militant. Okay. We can't be militant, you know. And so we're gonna go to commercial break, and when we come back, I will be speaking to the elderberry, Mr. Kenny Berry. We'll be right back at the commercial break.
Zodiac Vodka is an American-made, all-natural, gluten-free potato vodka. Only 2% of vodka is made from potatoes. We use regionally grown potatoes and water from the Snake River aquifer. We start with the best agriculture to make a superior product. It is rapidly growing as a bartender's choice drink. Go to ZodiacSpirits.com to find your cocktail. Remember, must be 21 years or older. Drink responsibly. ZodiacSpirits.com.
Sports fans, introducing Icon Auction and Events, one of South Florida's premier auction companies specializing in sports and entertainment memorabilia. Since 2012, our company's reputation is ranked as one of the best in the industry due to our unparalleled quality, exceptional customer service, and customer satisfaction. There's always a huge selection of sports treasures and entertainment collectibles. For more information, contact Andy Silverman with Icon Auction and Events at 954-300-7219 or visit their website at iconicsilentauctions.com.
Welcome back to the studios of the 2-Minute Warning with your host, Benny Blades. Mr. Blades, are you ready?
Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. I'm your host, Benny Blades. I'm sitting here now with the elder, Berry, Mr. Kenny Berry. Kenny Berry is my roommate, and I'm glad that he came on the show because we had some real rough times down at the University of Miami. We were winning, but we had to have some wrestling matches in the room.
Oh, yes.
And because I was the big blade. You know.
We all double teamed.
You know? But, you know, those are some, I'm not going to say great times. Those are some historical times while we were down at the University of Miami. I tell people all the time, anytime you can lose less than 8 games in a four-year time frame, those are superb numbers.
Come on.
And I just want to get Kenny's take on his experience while we were down at the University of Miami.
Man, I tell you, brother, I mean, thanks for having me. And I tell you, man, it was such an amazing time because we're in an era where we're the most dominant team in college football. Yeah. You know, and I reflect a lot of time because under Coach Jimmy Johnson, one of the most fascinating and most amazing coach, you know, to ever coach football, period, at any level. Honestly, Coach, kudos to you. We thank you for everything that you've done and rearing us as young men and letting us know how dominant we really can be. But being at the U and knowing that during that era of time that we're the team that was sought after. You know, everybody wanted to beat the U. And I was there for my freshman year redshirting, but every year you're up for the national title. We could have been national champion every year. And that was just amazing that, we had the opportunity and just being able to play with some of the, the greats, of all time, just having you as my roommate. And not only that, but being your backup.
Now look, we were telling some of the stories. Old people, we get together, we talk about the war stories.
Yeah.
And people don't realize when you go to the University of Miami, it's not about you, the individual. It's about when you put that U on the side of the helmet, it means a brotherhood.
Exactly.
And that's that brotherhood for life. And so Kenny was saying that I used to always tell him, all right, Roomy, get ready, Roomy. Because when you're a Benny Blaze, and I tell people all the time, when I came back from the All-American thing, and your job is to groom the person behind you. And so I always tell people, the only way you're gonna learn a position, not from playing against backups. I mean, look, when you're up by 40 points, look, that team done gave up. You got to learn in the heat of the fire. And so I used to fake cramps. Roomy, you make sure you're ready now. I'm going to come out for a couple players. And look, he'll tell you, that was exciting weather. Tell him about the Florida game.
The University of Florida, man, I tell you. And early on, and the game hasn't really gone that long, but he had already planned this thing out. Say, Roomy, man, I hope you be ready, man, because, hey, we got to get you in, man, get you in the fire. And I mean, our backs were against the wall, about, inside our own 20, and inside the 20, they're about to score. And here it is, he faked this cramp. and so now I got to go in at safety, and I know that it's a costly time. But knowing that we are prepared one another, we looked after one another. We made sure that, our backups and those guys that were with us, that they was able to come in and keep things going, and one thing about it was that, the starter was afraid to really get hurt, because if they did, the backups, man, they would never probably, those starters would never see the field again.
You wouldn't see the field. And I when I go around and I tell people about that, people don't realize that we had second and third team guys.
Come on, man.
That would leave and play in the league. You know what I mean? Because you had an amazing career, with the Chargers. And then you moved back to Belgrade. Tell the people what you're doing now.
Well, now I'm a pastor and I'm a bishop with the Conventional Covenant Church, but I pastor Grace Fellowship Worship Center there in the city of Belgrade. And one of the community activists there that work with the Gladesmen Association, where we're, as pastors, we're staying out front and we're trying to really promote that which is right in our communities. And so just being able to be there to be an inspiration, to be a leader, to be a guide in our communities is great. Being back, raised up in Polk, but being in Belgrade, one of the largest cities there, and working hand in hand with the mayor. We're just trying to make sure that our people needs are met. We're so fortunate. I must give shout out to our sugar industries, because they pushed like $70,000 through our ministry, that we're able to do a feeding program to feed our seniors, to make sure they got a hot meal during this pandemic. And with other organizations like Tiffany, that we've actually did kids meal. And we do a major food drive, which we have one tomorrow morning that will be in the city of Pahokee. We try to do one in Pahokee, Belgrade, and South Bay. And where we're getting an opportunity to not just feed people from the Glades, but we have people that is coming from Wellington, Royal Palm, the acreage, to receive food during this pandemic here. So last week we served over 997 families last week here. Wow. So but those are the things that we're doing right now, and just trying to make sure that people are still fed and that their needs are met during this tough time here. So.
Well, I'm glad that, see, I always tell people, from a roomie to an NFL player to now a bishop, we ain't gonna go back to all them times we had, you know what I mean, in the 36 dorms. Amen. Because those were turbulent times. Yes, but I'm glad that you're doing your part. Yes. Over in Belgrade, and tell me how are the race relations? Going over there, because now people talk about the pandemic, but, these race relations nowadays are real tough. How's it over in Belgrade?
And it's like anywhere else. We've had our issues, even with law enforcement, but the great thing about it, I get opportunity to, work with them. They're in our meetings and things that are going on. So we get a chance to speak to the majors, the captains, and things of that nature there, and to still abreast of things here. And we know that we've had some problems with law enforcement out there, but being able to be out front and actually call them out, when things are wrong, that's what we're able to do as ministers. And so we've built the collaboration in that these feeding programs that we're doing every week, that our Palm Beach County Sheriff's Officer, the community relation guys, they're out there, working with us, and we all are just, even as a pastor, bishop, we get ticked off and mad about the things that transpire, against us as, African American men. Mm-hmm. And we can't bypass that. We're not going to try to negate the show or anything of that nature there. It was horribly wrong, but these are the injustices that we have faced as a culture, right. And I can say it as this here, is that because when you're afraid of someone and you don't know how to approach them, so you try to use other methods to suppress them. This is nothing new. We look back in the Bible days there when, where Pharaoh, when he saw the Hebrew children where they was actually growing to great numbers, so what do you want to do? Suppress them, yep. Want to give them rigorous tasks, but, God's word still didn't mean today, let my people go. That's right. And because if they ever allow us to, and it's just not allow us, but that if we realize how dominant that we are, as a people, yeah. We're the most dominant species on the earth in itself. And we'll look at all of our ancestors and all the great things that they have done, the creation of things in this country, You know, this country has been built on the backs of African American. You know, we're the one that's made this country what it is right now today. We have not got the recognition, you know, for it, but you know, but we know that if we can come together as collect as a people and understanding our own self-worth and our own values, you know, what we're able to accomplish. You know, one thing about it is that we don't support, you know, black-owned businesses. We got to begin to take that money back into our communities that are circulating in there, you know, 10 times before it goes out.
That's right.
You know, we got to build our own financial institutions. We have to do those things in our schools because we have to teach our people who we are.
That's right.
You know, what we have come from. You know, a lot of our kids these days here, as I say the millennials, they don't know the struggles that, you know, our ancestors have gone through. And so they have a whole different agenda in how to deal with this thing. So where they're going about it is different way that we went about it, and our ancestors went about it.
And then that's why, you know, your son said, well, and right now today, hit him, he gonna hit back. Like I told him, we had our times, you know, don't get us wrong now. We can be real militant when we need to be.
Exactly.
But, you know, when you've come full circle like we have, I tell them I'd rather beat you financially than beat you physically. You know what I'm saying? That's my motto. I tell the kids, I said, look, I'm getting older now. When I hit you in your pocket, that's gonna hurt a lot worse than me trying to physically beat you up. You know what I mean? But look, me and my roommate, we could talk for 2, 3, 4 days because, you know, every time it's me and him catch up, you know, it's like old times. You know, we don't have to just talk about football. You know, him and I, our lives transcend past the game. And that's what my platform is all about. It's about life after the game. What are we doing now? How are we gonna make the world better? Not just Kenny and Benny. How are we gonna make the world better? And I'm glad, Rooney, you doing your part.
Amen.
Much love to this man right here. All right? But till next week's show, I am gonna talk to my 2 brothers, my biological brother and a brother. I call him a brother from another mother. When you see him next week, you're gonna say, whoa. But he's my brother from another mother. And I'm gonna go to Wines for Humanity. The wine of the week is Black Shiraz. I need you guys to go and select Black Shiraz as the wine of the week. And until next week, peace out.
Anton Steinhardt, founder of Wines for Humanity, is proud to team with Black Shiraz partner and former NFL star Benny Blades to assist in his Benny Blades 36 Foundation in helping children with special needs. Go to winesforhumanity.com, look for the 3 20% off wine specials, make your selection, and use the code BB36F20. Please join the team through winesforhumanity.com or call Dana Lisa Torres at 561-445-7066. Thank you.
You've been listening to the 2-Minute Warning with Benny Blades. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Tune in again next week for our next episode. You can follow the 2-Minute Warning on Benny Blades' Facebook page and share it with your friends. Mr. Blades, get ready.